Well, welcome everyone to another series of our sessions. Another
session of our series.
That's it, in the series. Today we're doing Kahoot, Nearpod, Flipgrid, and then at 10 o'clock we're going to do I'm a teacher, not a techie, which will cover Screencastify and hopefully calm some anxious nerves, and Rick's soothing voice will just calm us to Zen, to where we can just be ready to go for that Monday or Tuesday, So today it's being recorded, and just as all the others, you can watch it obviously synchronously today now live. You can watch it asynchronously. Both ways, you'll be able to get clock hours. There'll be some assignments that will be due. Each presenter has gone ahead and made some either a form or a reflection, or and then just answer that, turn that into the classroom. I will get you the classroom code, and that way if you've not logged into the Teaching and Learning Classroom code, Google Classroom, then we'll have the code available so that you can log in as a student. I think that's all for that. Again, Kahoot, Nearpod, Flipgrid. Kahoot, Katie's going to take us through Kahoot. Nikki's going to take us through Nearpod. I'm sorry, Stephanie, for some reason I got K for Kahoot and Katie, and N for Nearpod and Nikki, but I couldn't come up with anything for Flipgrid and you stuff. But anyway, so it's Stephanie with Flipgrid. So we'll let Katie take over, and we're just going to bug out. Again, I will get you the Google Classroom code, and you'll be able to see that. And so, Katie, take it away.
Good morning. So I'm going to talk to you guys about Kahoot. Some of you may be familiar with it and some of you may not. I really like Kahoot because it kind of livened things up. So first things first, what is Kahoot? And why can we use it for distance learning? Kahoot is a learning platform where teachers can create and host fun games. So these games are going to be interactive, where you can have your students participate either with you or on their own. The games can be accessed through the web or an app, so students don't have to create an account to actually play. So for teaching, this is going to save a lot of time to where you can still get results. So if you guys have not gotten on Kahoot before, it's actually kind of like two websites. It's Kahoot and then Kahoot It, where kids get in and play. So if you want to get in Kahoot right now and sign in, that would be lovely. And it's going to look kind of like this. I already have an account, so you're going to create an account. You can just log in with Google, which is really nice down here. So I'll give you guys a second to do that. Ways that I've used Kahoot in my classroom are just when my kids have been working hard and testing all week. I will let them take a break, and we'll find a fun Kahoot on something like Disney movies. So it can be a brain break for kids too. They also opened it up where you can create your own lessons, and I'll kind of show you what that looks like. So when I log in, let's see if it lets me. And I actually share an account with all the fourth grade teachers here at Orrin Smith. This is nice is because when they find great quizzes on Kahoot, it shares them. So this is what Kahoot's sign-in looks like once you're in. It's going to talk about your name. If you want to upgrade, there's always in all these programs upgrades that you can pay and get more features. I've only used the free features, so that's basic, and it seemed to work well with me and for my classroom. So when you're on here, it's going to show you can upgrade up here. It's going to show you to either log out. It's going to show you settings, which there's not a lot of settings. So You don't really have to mess with it. It does have privacy. It shares the Kahoots with you, with other users, shares my Kahoot with other users if I create it, but you also have individual choices. So you can work with all your privacy issues and change your password under your settings as well. When you get back into Kahoot and you want to use it, there's going to be the hamburger over on the side, can take you home. Discover is where you can find games that have already been created, which is really nice, because if you're doing a unit in fractions, you can just find one that's already been created instead of having to create everything yourself. Don't reinvent the wheel, just use something that works for you. It has Kahoots right here. These are Kahoots that you would have created. Favorite ones that you use often, maybe somebody else on your team. You can have somebody share it with you. And then if you started creating one and you haven't finished it, it's under my drafts. You can get reports. So once you've either assigned a Kahoot or have done it in your classroom, you can go to reports and see how everyone's done. They also added groups to where you can group them all together, share it, and then back to settings. So I'm going to show you what Discover looks like, because that's a great piece. So here's Discover. On here, it has a whole bunch of different Kahoots that you can use. I will say, don't just blindly choose one and assign it to your kids. Please look at it first. So let's say that we want to learn about cell and, I don't know, empathy, because we're all doing the character strong, I believe, this year. You can search this, and they will have lessons for you that you can use. And here's one right here. So on empathy, you can click into it, and it's going to show you what the quiz looks like and the questions. So this is going to be where Kahoot, you can either quiz kids or you can actually kind of teach a lesson. So this one's kind of more of a lesson game where it has some questions that the kids have to answer, but some of them are just showing that it's a slide. So this one says slide, and it's going to show them what is empathy, and then it's going to tell them what empathy is. So you can check through, and if you don't like something, you can edit it. So over here it says edit. On some of them you can or cannot edit because of depends on who creates it. So this is one that you can't edit, but on a lot of the games you can edit them to kind of create the answers or create questions that you like and delete slides. And then you can hit play on this one. But if you want to go ahead and play it, you can see what it's going to look like. And then here's the new thing with Kahoot as well. You can have it to where your kids are playing it with you live for virtual classrooms, so teach with it, or you can assign it for later when they do it on their own. And this works with Google Classroom, which is powerful. So if I click, let's say I looked through all of my questions, and I've looked at this one before, and you like it, you can go ahead and hit play, and you can assign it to your kids. In here it says Kahoot has an ongoing challenge and ends in 4 days. This is because I've already assigned it. You can go ahead and create it and say, hey, when do I want this to close? I want it to close Friday the 28th at 12 p.m. Question timer, giving them a certain amount of time, or does it matter? Like on this one, you're not looking for necessarily right or wrong answers because this is a lesson that's going to teach them about empathy. So I don't need a timer on there. If you have something where it's like, hey, I just gave a unit about fractions, I don't want them to go and look up all the answers, you might want to put the timer on. Randomizing the answer order, it depends on the questions, but you can turn that on and off. And then nickname generator. With Kahoot, students have the option to be able to give nicknames or their real names. On this one, because I have assigned it to be individual where they get to take it on their own, I want their names. I want to know that they actually took the Kahoot and completed it. So I'm not going to turn their nickname generator on. If I was doing this live, I would more want nicknames. So that way kids feel safe to answer the questions. So you're gonna have to look at it and see what you want to do. Once I've chosen my settings, I can hit create. And here's going to be my Kahoot. On here, you can copy the URL and post it in a website or whatever, but they've made it easy to where you can just post into Google Classroom. What you're gonna need though is you need to take the game pin and copy it. So to copy something, you highlight it and hit Command C, and then it's saved. So when I hit Google Classroom, it's gonna take all my classes, and then I can choose which one. So I have all your guys' stuff under professional development. I can select that. Now I have to choose an action. Do I want to create an assignment, ask a question, make an announcement? So it depends if this is something just fun where you want to make an announcement, like a brain break. If I was doing, famous Disney characters quiz, I might just make it an announcement and not have it graded. Let's say I wanted this to be a part of an assignment. I'm going to create an assignment here. And then when I hit go, it's going to take me here. Now I've got to title it. Those of you who are familiar with Google Classroom, you're going to be familiar. Kahoot check-in with, you can give instructions. Complete this Kahoot on your own. Over on the side, I've already selected a class, but here's where if you're teaching 4 or 5 classrooms, you can click them and then select more than one class. All students, or you can individualize it. Maybe you only want 2 students to get it and not all students. Maybe it's just students who are struggling with it. You can set points. I tend to have things ungraded. And due date, I would put it at the same due date that we had, which was the 28th. Oh, you guys can't see my Google Classroom. Hold on, sorry about that. Let's see if you guys can see it now. How about that? So I was in here working on a Kahoot. Oh, not that one. Right here, let me go back through. You're gonna click this button. It's gonna bring up your Google Classroom. Oh, it's still not gonna let it attach though, is it? Well, this is new for all of us. So let's stop. Oops. Share screen. Entire screen. Okay. How about this? Does that work better? Now you're going to choose a class. I said I would just putting it on the professional development. I'm going to make it an assignment. Now I'm going to go. Here it is. Now I will title it Kahoot Empathy. Sorry about that. You guys couldn't see. The quiz. Instructions. Play this game on your own. Again, over here on the side is where you can assign it to multiple classrooms, individual students. Let's say that you had a lesson and you saw just a couple kids struggling with empathy. You can go through and just click whatever kids you want to have. I don't grade it. Due date, I would keep the due date the same, which is like, hey kids, you got to get it done before the 28th. And then a topic, I would put it under today's topic, but it's not there. So here, I'll put it under Kahoot. And then you're going to assign it. So then kids have all the information they need, and this is what they will see. Here it is. It says, I added a new empathy quiz, and kids can get in here, click on it, and be able to play. So that saves them from being able to have to go and look up Kahoot.it and put it in there. It will take them right in and be able to play the game. So they don't need any of the pins or anything else, which is nice. Once students have taken the quiz, then you're going to want to look at it. So let's look at one of the quizzes back here that somebody's already taken. So when I want to go back home, I just click Kahoot, and Kahoot's going to take me back home. On here, I can look at my last Kahoots that have been given. So let's say I want to look at second quarter math review that somebody took last quarter. On here, I can see what are the questions. On this one, I can edit it. So if I did want to change some of the questions, you're able to do that. You can add images, you can add videos, all kinds of things to kind of help you. Down at the bottom, you can edit and decide what you want your answers to be. So that is all available for people to use with Kahoot. The last important thing that is really nice is going to be reports. On reports, it's going to be all of them saved. So you can see that today I put on the empathy quiz. Nobody has played it yet, so it doesn't have any reports to give to me about it. But if I go down here, here's one on ordering fractions that somebody gave. I can open this up and it's going to give me kind of feedback on how students did. So practice makes perfect. 29% got it correct. There was 31 players. It's going to tell you what the difficult questions are. So down here are the difficult questions. On here, you can, down at the bottom, says create a new Kahoot with only the difficult questions, the one that the kids struggled with. So if you want to take the ones they missed and refresh later on, you can do that and add some more into it. It's going to tell you the kids that need help. So you can click on this little button and here's the kids, and hopefully initials would make sense to you on who took it and what their names stand for. Here's all the kids and how they did, which obviously it doesn't look like they did a whole lot on this one. Maybe I should choose a different one to show you guys. But it's going to show you their progress, who didn't finish it, who needs help, and all the questions and all the results on it. So, which is pretty nice. And you can play it again. So reports is going to be super nice for you guys to be able to get through and kind of get feedback. Somebody did a June trivia one. And on here, it's, again, difficult questions, who needs help, and who didn't finish. So when you click into any of them, you can see all the 6 kids who took it. How did they do? What questions did they get? What place did they rank? If it is a fun game, you can go through here and you can view podium, and it's going to show you who won first, second, third place. So that's something that you could choose to share with your students later, just kind of as a motivation piece. Just depends on how you want to use it. But it doesn't show you the kids who didn't do well. So just kind of a fun piece for kids to use. Yeah, so all kinds of great things with Kahoot. I don't know how you guys are feeling with it, but it's something nice to get, again, kind of break up students and what they are playing with and what they are doing. So it's not all strict learning. And let me show you the kids side on this empathy one, because this is new, where kids can learn as they go. And this is not just quiz, but them playing and kind of learning as they go, which is kind of fun. So here's empathy. I let them be nicknames, and you can go. And then it's going to quiz you and talk to you about what empathy is. So this is actually what the game looks like. So here's information. It says no need to answer. question, what is empathy? And then it's going to give the definition down below. So this is moving at the kids' pace on their own, so they can take as long or as little time as they want to be able to read it. And then up at the corner, they're going to click got it to move to the next one. Again, it's going to give the topic at the top, kind of what are they learning, and then it's going to give them the answer down below. So this isn't a traditional Kahoot where it's just question, 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 quiz, so on and so forth. So it's going to go through teaching them as they go. I think one of the last things that I want to share with you guys, and you guys can let me know if you want some of this paperwork. I follow a lady, and she's amazing. And she created this. It's Trailblazing Teacher. And it just talks about why use Kahoot. It builds classroom community, increases student engagement, assesses student learning, makes learning fun. It talks about question types. You can quiz students, true or false, open-ended. You can create a puzzle for them to complete. You can poll students to see how they're feeling, or you can put just slides in for them to learn. You can play it live in the classroom or virtual classroom, or you can assign it. Another thing she talked about is planning it. If you're going to plan your own Kahoots, what are you going to name it? Who's it for? Are you doing it for a live lesson or a self-paced lesson? Are you finished with it? When do you want to assign it? Because if you're doing a Kahoot every day, the kids will probably get burnout. So it's using them strategically. So she does have a Kahoot planner that's on here. And then she also has, when you're creating your own Kahoot, it's directions, how to fill this out. You know, what's your topic? Are you playing it live or self-paced? What kind of questions? And then she gives you, hey, if you're creating a quiz question, write your question here so you can kind of plan it. How many points is it going to be worth? Do you have a picture, a YouTube to go with it to kind of teach them, or nothing? Time limit. And then it gives you a spot to kind of plan out your answers on here, which is nice to do. The true or false one, again, thinking about what kinds of questions you have, questions, are you using multimedia, and the true or false answer. The open-ended questions, same idea, but what is the correct answer? Are you going to write it below? Here's another one for the puzzle piece. On the puzzle piece one, you need to add all the 4 answers in the correct order. They will automatically be randomized during the game. So you're going to put, and this would be like sequencing. Hey, go ahead and watch or read this little text piece. Can you tell me what happened in order? You know, the girl lost her puppy, then she asked for help. They looked for the puppy, and then the puppy ended up being under her bed, whatever it is. And then you want the students to put it in order. For teachers who are teaching younger grades, I did hear that they are allowing your answers to not just be words, but you can put pictures in as well. So for those teachers who are teaching younger kids, or even teachers who have students who struggle with reading, there is an option of being able to just look at pictures as well. Another option for a question, they have polling, again, where you can give possible answers like, how are you feeling today? Or what do you think the best answer is? And then it will put the results in on the Kahoot game as well. So, which is pretty awesome. And then the slide is more for teaching. It's not going to ask them for an answer. It's just going to be like the empathy one. Hey, what is empathy? And then you write in your information below. So it kind of teaches kids. So later on, you could quiz them about it. So Kahoot is a lot of fun. If you guys want some of this information, reach out to me. Let me know. For clock hours today, though, let me stop sharing. For clock hours today, I, at 9:30, have attached a 3-question quiz on Google Classroom, the professional development. It's just, how can you envision yourself using Kahoot? Does Kahoot strictly have to be quizzing, or can you teach with Kahoot as well? And then one other yes or no question. So if you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, I think I'm going to bring everybody else back in and let me know if I missed anything. But
Katie, that was great. One question is about the timer. what is the default time on it?
I believe the default time is 20 seconds, and you can set it to be longer or shorter. But the default is 20 seconds. The other thing that I forgot to mention was if you want to assign it to students, like I assigned it to where they're completing it individual on my Google Classroom, it's going to take 100 students. So that's the limit. So those teachers who are maybe in middle school or high school and you have 120 might have to duplicate it and assign it twice, 1 to 3 classes and 1 to 3 classes.
That's good news, or not good news, but it's good information. So awesome. Anybody else have any other questions?
And if you want, I can just post those planning sheets in the professional development page so people can print them and use them if they would like to. They also have a student instruction page that you could print and send with parents at the beginning of the year. So anyways, I love this teacher. She was so awesome. So it's not my work, remember. I follow a trailblazing teacher. She's wonderful.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Katie. Well, I guess we're going to turn it over to Nikki, and she's going to take us through Nearpod. Thanks, Nikki.
Did you say it's my turn? My computer just went blank.
Yep.
Are we ready for Nearpod?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, awesome. All right, guys, I'm so glad that Katie went first because Nearpod and Kahoot have a lot of similarities. I use Nearpod often in the library, and I used it when I taught in classrooms, when I went to everybody's rooms, and I used it for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. So I know that they can all do this and be successful. What I really like Nearpod for is teaching lessons. So instead of quizzing or playing those fun games, which I love Kahoot for that, I like to use Nearpod to be really interactive. Like when Burke is coming, I'm going to do a Nearpod because it's going to hit all those conversations and deep thinking and kids, giving their own synthesis, what we're talking about. It just embeds that for you. So I'm going to take over the screen and take you all to Nearpod. I hope I can do this. Okay, here we go. Okay, so when we're in Nearpod, can you guys see? Oh, you can't. I can't hear you guys. This is what Nearpod looks like. And you can search the Nearpod library, which to me, it kind of reminds me of a Teachers Pay Teachers database. There is just about any topic, any subject. When I work with kids in different groups, like let's say I'm doing fractions one day, if I'm pulling a small group, I type in 4th grade fractions. If I'm using it in the library and I want to do some kind of digital literacy or empathy, or I want to do character traits, I type in my topic. Over on the left-hand bar, you can get really specific. You can say, I only want lessons for 4th grade. I only want lessons with videos. I tend to go more general, and then I narrow it down as I go. So I am going to search icebreakers. Because the beginning of the year, you might want to start with something really easy to kind of build that familiarity and build success. So I'm just going to search icebreakers in the library, and it's going to pull up, a few selections. So I'm thinking about when I look at the age range, and sometimes I go up in age range and sometimes I go down. I don't feel locked into what they tell me. I decide as a teacher what works best. So I'm just going to click on icebreakers, K6. Oops. I think it's slow because I'm doing this through StreamYard. So I'm sorry, guys. So a great thing with Nearpod is you can preview every single lesson. Some of the lessons are free, which I use a lot of the free ones, and some of the lessons you pay for, like Teachers Pay Teachers. I'll show you in a minute. I have a pretty big library because I've used a lot of the lessons. So I'm going to preview Icebreakers, and it always starts with sharing, what is this going to be about? And when I'm with kids, I usually click through this pretty fast. And then it gives the kids, which superpower would you rather have? They choose, and then up on the screen will pop up everybody's answers. And you can choose on Nearpod to hide names or keep names open. I always make kids use their real names because I tell them, this could be collected at any time and I want to know who's doing what. But I also know that it's okay to hide names. So if it's a question where I feel like I really want them to be honest, like Katie said, I'll hide their names for that question. You can't see, so right now we're looking at teacher view, not student view. And sometimes I have two computers open so I can see the student view as well. So right there, it gave a really good conversation and kids could discuss. You could discuss all together, and then it's going to give them another question. I love how they're making choices. I like how they're analyzing, and then they have to defend their thinking because you're going to talk about why would you do that? Another poll, and there's usually sound effects with this when you do it in your classroom. So this is just one example of how you type in a subject for yourself to go find. Now I'm going to show you my library. So this, when it says my library at the top, these are all the lessons that I've already done. And some of these are free and some of these I've paid for. So I'm going to show you one that I might use at the beginning of the school year. And I typed in Nearpod growth mindset. And when I typed in growth mindset, I chose this lesson. And just like Kahoot, you can do this live. So all your kids are typing in their code at home and you're playing all together as part of your lesson. Or you can do it student paced. And just like Kahoot, you can add it right to your Google Classroom. They have made it so easy. And you can see that some of these have options to edit as well. So I'm going to say, let's play this live. And it's going to pop up a code on the board. And it's just like the kids would put a code in for Google Classroom. So I'm going to type this in on a computer next to me so I can play it. Okay, so there's our code. And see, here's Google Classroom. You can link it right there. I see that it has a link for Remind. I wondered, Tracy, how you would do it in Seesaw. Maybe add the link to your Seesaw, but I think it would be possible too. So here is our mindset game. It's always going to start with what's important for this, what our kids need to know. There's our standard objective. I usually scroll through this because I'm usually sharing this with kids. And they're going to start today with taking kids on a virtual field trip. We're all going to be mountain climbers. And as you guys are mountain climbing today, you're going to think, are you going to make it to the top without ropes? Could you do this? And what would you need to train? Let's go. So this is going to take them virtual. And this is one reason I love Nearpod is there's lots of engagement embedded. So you're going to enter the VR. And then you're going to look around. And I would just have kids share, what do you notice? What's happening? Give them a few moments to kind of generate some questions and talk. And then you can move. Now, all the kids' screens are locked into yours. So if you're using this as a teachable live lesson, they're doing exactly how you're pushing them forward. They can't get off. So now I'd say, okay, wait, wouldn't it be fun if we could think, pair, share at home? So today we're going to talk all as a group. Do you think you could make it to the top of the mountain like you just saw? Why or why not? And I might say, take a minute and jot it down on your whiteboard, or take a minute and jot it on paper. And then we'd be ready to share out loud. And when you're doing this, you can see all of your kids. So it's really interactive. Do you think we have the power to train our minds the way we train our bodies? Be prepared to defend your thinking. And then the kids all vote, and you can see this whole pie chart, floods with all their thinking, and they really like to see that. Anyways, you can keep going, and some slides I'll be like, I don't feel like doing that one right now, and I'll just kind of keep going. So let's learn. Now they embed a video, and the kids love this too, where you can play the video, and again, you're going to respond to it. So this is just another example of how you can use Nearpod in your teaching. So I'm going to click End Session. Just like Kahoot, there's reports, so you can see how your kids did, which is good feedback. Yes, I want to end the session. And it's taking longer because I'm going through StreamYard, I think. So if I wanted to go back to Nearpod to explore, I'm going to go to Nearpod Library. And then let's say, for example, I want to do a lesson on character traits. So there are lots of choices, and I usually click on a couple of them, and I might scroll through the first 3 or 4 slides to see how interactive is it. Is it interactive? Is it engaging? This 3-5 one is amazing. It's like a 40-minute lesson with videos and questions. It would be a great one to assign to your kids at home, and then you could come back and talk about it. But they really just have a whole wealth of things that you can choose from. Let's see. I also have an assignment on Google Classroom, so you can get your clock hours, and all you have to do is go on a Nearpod and find a lesson that you could possibly use and share the title. And there are lots to choose from. So let's see, I'm gonna go back to StreamYard. I don't know how to get this off my screen. I wish I could see you guys. It's really hard to present without being interactive. Anyway, if you have questions, you're welcome to email me, Nikki Ames, or names@Chehalis, and I'm happy to help and answer questions.
Awesome. I will add that I know that there are some teachers that are interested in the paid version. And if you are interested and think that this is something that you'll be using, so Nikki, the paid version versus the free version, what are the benefits of having the paid version?
I've only used the free version.
Okay. I know that in the paid version, my understanding is that you can edit the Nearpods. You can remove something that they have, an example that they have, and you can put your own example in there. I think there's, students can do it self-paced also, so it's not.
Yeah, student paid.
But that's on the paid, right? Or can you do it on the free?
Well, I'm doing it on, you know what, Robert? I wonder if I'm using a paid one through our school or through you. Did we get a couple paid accounts? Because
Can I jump in perhaps? I don't know, Robert, is it a paid version or do you just pay for the individual lessons like teacher pay teacher? Because
that's what I do.
Yeah, when I've gone on the Nearpod, there's free ones, but then there's paid ones. So you just pay for that lesson, and it's $2 or $5, I don't know, whatever it might be. So I don't know if it's a paid version or you simply pay for each lesson you want to use. I don't know, Nikki, you know more than I do, but
I pay for a lot of lessons because for me, it's just, I love it. I love this platform. It's so interactive. And students really, really love it when they come in and get to do a Nearpod.
Awesome. So I'll look and see what the differences are. If it looks like that there's a lot of functionality, a lot more functionality. I know that Nikki, you and a few others and I have had this conversation before about getting the paid version, and we could never get enough interest. But if there is interest, then I would definitely.
And you can make your own Nearpods, just like, and I have done that. There's just so many good ones out there. It's easy to find something that works. I love to use them around holidays too, like Martin Luther King Day or Veterans Day. They have really, really great ones to use with kids.
So Nikki, Denise had Nikki and Stephanie. Denise had something, question on, I believe it was still on Kahoot. Can someone answer that? Katie is gone. She had another commitment. I do not know that answer. So Denise, I think I'll send this to Katie, and she'll get back with you and let you know for sure.
I think what Katie meant by duplicating is you just add that assignment again. Is that what you're saying? I don't think you're making it your own. Right? When Katie said duplicate, she just meant add that assignment again to your other set of classes.
Right.
And I don't think empathy, the one that she was showing us, you couldn't edit. With some you can edit and some you can't.
Right. Okay, we'll get a clarification and still get you an answer, Denise. Awesome. Well, Stephanie, you're going to take us through Flipgrid, and we're all excited to hear. So take it away.
Okay, first, I want everybody to go to this link I'm going to post and let me know what your experience with Flipgrid is. One of the things about this presentation is I want to show you some things that you can do with Google Slides as well as with Flipgrid. So I hope that's not going to be confusing, but I just want to show, for instance, that we can post polls. This is the poll results from 2 people taking the poll. So I hope that as you're entering your answers, we'll have more participation. But we can post forms in the form of a poll into our classroom experience. So if we're not trying to put together a Nearpod, but we're trying to use Google Forms, we can embed that. So there's a couple of things that I want to show you using Google Slides as well as Flipgrid. But for now, let's just start back at the beginning. Flipgrid provides a video discussion experience in an asynchronous format. So this is really handy for classroom discussions that can take place outside of the classroom, but also outside of our live interaction time. And it provides an opportunity for students to be really intentional with what it is they're communicating. So I'm excited to share this with you. Let's see if we've had much participation. Get an update here. I'm not sharing my screen. I'm just now realizing that. I'm sorry. That would be helpful. Share screen. That one. How's that? As if you can, as if I can hear you right now.
That works.
Oh, good. Okay. So it sounds like a bunch of us have heard of it but never used it. So great. This is an opportunity to see how it works. So I'm going to post these slides to the Google Classroom so you can go through them. I'm not going to show you everything or all the videos because I've taken a bunch of videos from Flipgrid and embedded them into Google Classroom, which was another thing I wanted to show you how to do. But I'll just show this intro video because, of course, Flipgrid does a better job of explaining what they are than I could.
So it does look like we're having a little bit of technical difficulty with volume. So
Oh, well, I'm sorry about that.
that's okay.
You can look at that video on their website or on my video or on my slides in Google Classroom. But hopefully you were able to see some of how the website works, but I'll take you through that as well. If you go to flipgrid.com, we can go through some of these steps together. But there's a page of how do I, and each one of these videos is a video that was created in Nearpod. I'm sorry, not Nearpod, Flipgrid, and downloaded to the computer and then uploaded to the Google slide. So apparently we don't have sound on my videos through Screencastify, or what are we in? StreamYard, but they will work on the slides. So let me just take you to the Flipgrid then, and we'll go through this together. There it is. Okay, so we want to sign up for the first time. We'll go to Educator Login, and we'll sign in with Google.
So Stephanie, I think you need to share the full screen. We're seeing the StreamYard right now.
Oh.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for your patience because
I'm sorry.
us too. So yeah, this is all for us.
I should have gone first, then I can make all the mistakes. Now it just looks like I don't know what I'm doing. Yay! Okay, so what you're looking at right now is my account at Flipgrid, and there's the discussion page, and each page has groups that you can set up. So for me, these would be my class periods. I have a creative writing class, I have language arts. I haven't broken language arts up into the variety of class periods that I have because I haven't seen my schedule yet, but that would be happening hopefully very soon. Grady is just sort of a fun one that I've experimented with. And then we have the staff training one where you're going to be posting to for your clock hours later. So if I want to create a new group, let's say I want to create first period language arts, I'm going to click on create a group, first period ELA. We get a join code, which we can share to our students. We'll click student email, so that makes it easy. And we just click next and next again, and we'll skip the duplicate topics. If I wanted to make one for second period and third period, this would be the place that I would do that. So I'm going to skip that for now. I can share this group very easily through Remind or through the Google Classroom from this page right here, or I could copy the link and post it wherever else I wanted to do that. But I don't have this class period set up in either of these accounts, so I'm going to go to group. And now I am looking at a brand new group. So at this point, I'm ready to post my first assignment for this class. So what I want to do is, and all the instructions are on the page, so it's really easy. So add a topic to start using it. So we're going to click add a topic. And let's just say today's topic, since it's the first thing, is we're going to introduce yourself. And I could give some details, you know, share your name and your pet, if you have one, because we're doing this from home now. And animals, as we know, have been a big part of distance learning and working from home. So that might be kind of a fun one. So share your name and a pet if you have one. And I would come up with something for students who don't have pets. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to kind of rush through that. I can set the recording time. I do not want them to spend 1 minute and 30 seconds playing with their pet online while we're all just sitting there watching. So I'm probably going to give them about 30 seconds. And what this does is it will cut off their video in 30 seconds. So they cannot go over time. I found when I use 15 seconds that students really struggle to get the content in and they get frustrated. So 15 seconds isn't really quite enough time until they get really used to using Flipgrid, and then that might be an appropriate time for how much you're having them do. Also, when you're sharing with students and they're recording videos, it's super important to include the video moderation feature because if you don't click this on, then as soon as the student posts that video, everybody can see it. And obviously, we want to make sure that they're presenting appropriate material and following the directions of the assignment before we share that out. In the media section, there's lots and lots of options. You can add an emoji, a GIF, an image, and all this sort of thing. I'll just add an emoji. And basically, it just gives it a little icon to your assignment. But if you were going to create a more intensive assignment, you might include like a science video from YouTube where you're asking them to really watch it and you're documenting information from the video in the response. So that would be where you would include that content. Access control. If you want to change who gets access to this, this is the section to do that. And that takes me to creating the topic. So I'm all set. Once again, I'll probably be using Google Classroom quite a bit. So I would just post this to the Google Classroom. I might also put it on Remind just so there's 2 places to alert students that there is a new assignment. But once again, I don't have those set up. So I'm just going to click all set and it's ready to share. So let's say I wanted to give them an example. I can start the discussion myself by recording a response for students. And once I'm recording the response to students, I've got my window. I can see myself. And there's options down below for what you can do with it. If you want to upload a clip that you've downloaded, there's an option for that. You can mirror your background so that like where it says classroom and I've got this list of what it means to be in my classroom. I don't want it to look like this because that's difficult for students to read. So I can mirror that. I have audio options and I can even record my screen. And then this is the fun part, the effects. So students are obviously going to play with this quite a bit from video to video. They might choose their favorite, of course. I do want to alert you to these 2 options right here because I know my middle school students love to hide and they would use these options quite a bit. But I wouldn't probably want this option because I want to know what's going on in the film. I want to see my students as they are working. So just be aware that they can choose that. There's lots of frame options. Maybe you would use this if they're giving a report on a book or some kind of nonfiction assignment, or history assignment, or breaking news in science, fun stuff like that. Kids will really get into it. There's an emoji section where they can add emojis and other fun things. Keep in mind, once again, my students anyway like to hide. And so they will do funny things on their screen just to hide their face. So you have to set up expectations of what you want your students to do with the Flipgrid video. Let's see, another option that's really good is that they can type on the screen. And they can maneuver the type print on the screen. They can make it small, they can turn it upside down. They can mirror it if they want to. Lots of different options. They can copy it. And now there's 2. If they don't want to, there's a trash can. They can delete that super easily. Let's see. This is one of my favorite options, the board, because I like this idea of being able to split the screen. So I can see my students, but then they can also add text on a board. So this could work like a whiteboard. Whoop. Text. Let's go to superpower. Whoop. Here we go. Well, here we go. Once again, they can resize that text. And maybe you have them answer a couple of questions. Maybe they're bullet pointing what they're talking about. But I just see lots and lots of uses for this for my own classroom. They have options to change the color. So they're going to spend quite a bit of time, maybe more time than you would want them to. But once again, it's it's asynchronous. So they can spend 2 hours working on one video for your classroom, and it gives them something else to do at home, to think about the content and to plan out how they're going to present. There's an option to add a custom sticker or an image from their computers. So they could go to, on our screen, it'll look like this, but on their screen, I think they're just pulling from Google Drive, but they would select an image that they've saved, and they can import that image to the film. And once again, we're resizing, deleting, flipping, however we want that to go. And they're doing all of this right now. I'm doing all of this before I've even started recording the video. So this red button right down here is the record button. So right now I just set this up. So when I hit record, that's what's going to be on the screen. Students can add effects and change options during the filming. But I personally find that to be really difficult for me to present and add effects at the same time, because I kind of get lost in some of the details. So I like to set that up before I film. And this is the filming, gives you a countdown, 3, 2, 1. And now I am currently filming my topic. And I've paused it. So at the next stage, so it's going to keep repeating. If I want to edit my video, I can click in down here at the bottom and adjust where the video is going to start and stop. And it's really important to remember that you're cutting and pasting, or you're cutting your video right in between the 2 lines is what's going to be kept. So you can't like keep this chunk and then keep this chunk at the end and just cut out the center. You're going to have to adjust. And this is the piece that's going to stay, but you don't want to delete the clip, because that's going to delete everything. I found that out the hard way and had to start all over. So you're going to click confirm, and then that has taken the clip that I want to keep. Now, if I've decided, man, I need to finish out what I'm saying, there's something I needed to add, I can go back and add more. And maybe I want to take this stuff out. And for my second segment, it's going to look a little different. I'm going to use a little different font, maybe a little different background. Anyway, something's going to be different maybe in my next segment. And now I'm ready to record. Once again, I get a 3, 2, 1 countdown. And now I'm currently recording. And now I'm not. So we're going to hit next. Okay. I wanted to show you this feature too. You can change the order of these videos, but I have found that to be kind of tricky in how to get it to move, but eventually it works. So there's that. And then once you're totally done and you're satisfied with your video, you're going to take it to next. You take a what's this thing called? A selfie. You can add some more effects if you want to, or you can just click next, and it's uploading my video. It's got a display name and submit. We get instant feedback. Success. The video is now visible, complete, and here it is registered. And it's active, which means students can see this if they have been invited to this assignment. So if I don't want them to see the video, I'm going to click hidden. And then they wouldn't be able to see that just yet. So that's how to create a video. Let's see. What's next? Let's see. Oh, giving feedback. So let's jump into that. So we can watch their videos and give them feedback. Where'd it go? So when we're viewing students' videos, it will line up. You'll get a little arrow, and you can click through the videos on this one page. The feedback section is pretty neat because students can also do this. They can record feedback to one another, or we can record feedback to them. We can incorporate a grading rubric and associate points to that. We can also input private comments. And let me show you the grading rubric piece of it. Over here on the right-hand side, this is basically a table of contents for this page. Feedback's all the way at the bottom. You can provide basic feedback or custom feedback. Here's a couple of items that I've set up already, but if I wanted to add some criteria, click on add criteria, maybe length, no, maybe broadcast voice is one of my topics. I'm going to explain what that means so that students understand that they need to be clear in what they're saying and kind of have that tone of I'm the expert in this information, I'm broadcasting it. And then I can set up my score, minimum and maximum, and then click create. Of course, once you're going to have to put in a description and hit create, and then it's available to add to the assignment. So when I update my topic and I go back into the feedback section, I should be able to see that. Broadcast voice description. So that's what I just added. Let's see what else. So up here at the very top, there's lots of different options. So discovery, this is a section much like what you've seen with Kahoot and Nearpod, where you can go see what other people have done and ideas that they have used for their own Flipgrids. Mixtapes allows you to streamline several topics, or maybe you want to make it's almost like a video collage of what a student has done. You can add it to a specific mixtape and you can name it. So maybe, you know, John, and then you have a variety of his entries. Shorts is kind of neat. It works similar to Screencastify, where you can record what you're doing on your screen, talk them through it, and maybe this will work. I won't watch the whole thing, but so it's kind of similar to what we're doing right now, but we're not using StreamYard with our students, but we could use Flipgrid. Grid Pals allows them to, or allows us as educators to connect to other people who are using the Flipgrid tool. And you can see the map, lots and lots of people are using it. So fun stuff.
So Stephanie, if we did have a teacher, as a teacher, would I be able to see the private feedback when student leaves another student?
Yes, absolutely. You get to see everything. And I have a lot more information on those videos that I've created, but unfortunately they're not playing through StreamYard. So check those out. I tried to break them up so you don't have to watch this long video recording. Instead, you can kind of chunk what you want to know.
Bathrooms are wet. Just give it a couple minutes to dry.
Okay, thank you. So how might I use this? Am I still sharing my screen? Yes. For my class, I know you can't probably hear it, but I use vocabulary terms in my classroom. And so when I introduce a new unit of vocabulary, I'll say the word and I'll have students respond. And so I'm thinking this would be really good for them to have to just say the list of words. So I would give them a video where I'm saying the list of words, and then I want them to be able to say them back to me clearly and correctly. So I'll show you what I've done. On the this is one of the ways that I've used the sidebar, where I'm asking students to say each word clearly, but I'm also asking them to type out the words and spell them correctly, which you would think would be an easy thing for students to do. But as we found at the middle school, sometimes their attention to detail isn't what we would appreciate and like for it to be. So this is an opportunity for them to show their ability to say each word, but also spell it correctly. Another way that I thought to use this is through sharing segments of an AR book, for instance. So in this particular video, I'm modeling what book that I'm reading, and a way to connect text to self with how am I connecting to the protagonist. And so I gave them an example using this video, and then I had my kids give examples too of what it would look like for one of my videos too small, can't click it open. Anyway, so that just has a couple of uses and then some, students using the video. You can kind of see what they do with it as well. Are there any other questions I can answer about Flipgrid or ways that you can use it, thoughts that you have? Looking at the chat really quick. Not so much.
Yeah, I don't see any other questions, but did you say that this Flipgrid is available in your slide deck?
It is available in my slide deck. It's posted to the Google Classroom. And I'll just add two more things. Flipgrid is an app on the phone, so students can download that and make their videos right there on their phone, or they can use the website and use it through the Chromebook. There's also an extension if you want to post something really quick, like the code to get them right where they need to be in order to respond quickly. And then the assignment for clock hours is to go to the Google Classroom and do the meet and greet. So you're going to have to set up your own assignment, or not set up your own assignment, but you have to respond to the set up assignment, meet and greet, in order to get those clock hours. And I gave you a short period of time, like 15 seconds. So enjoy that as you're trying to come up with your words that you want to use in 15 seconds. You might have to practice redoing your videos. And of course, your students will do that quite a bit before they send it off. At least we hope so.
Hey, this is awesome because I know the kids will absolutely be spending hours with all the filters and all of the options they have for recording that video just to make that perfect. So
yes, I know I have many times over.
yeah, that's awesome. So something that I noticed with all three of them is that there's an option to connect to Remind. And just to let everyone know, we are going to be doing a Remind training. It's going to be Thursday. You are the first to hear. I have not sent the email out yet, but we'll be doing it Thursday. Remind is still not quite set up, which is why we don't have classes in there. You may, if you're in, it may be because you've already set up classes in the past. But anyway, just know that we are working on that, Casey and his team, and trying to get the data in from Skyward. So awesome with that. I think that's everything from Katie, Nikki, and Stephanie. And again, thank you all for stepping up and being our leaders. And awesome as you are, I will say that our kids are. We're very fortunate to have y'all. Y'all are just awesome. So thank you so much. And speaking of awesome, we're going to change gears here and move over to Rick. Again, thank y'all for who's watching. Thank you for your patience in giving us grace as we're learning about videos in StreamYard and what we can and can't do. And learning our way around it. Again, this is brand new to us, and this is only our third broadcast, maybe fourth, that I've been a part of. So thank y'all for being gracious and patient. So Rick, I'll turn it over to you. And
hey, Robert, I have had a request. I wonder, do we need to take a 5-minute bathroom break for people watching live, or are we just recording this and want to go straight through? I don't care, but.
So typically I would say for those that are watching it live, you can